Hey everyone, welcome to the Oasis podcast. I'm your host, Miss AJ. Thanks for tuning in. An oasis is something that provides refuge, relief, or a pleasant contrast, and that is exactly what you will find tuning into the Oasis podcast. This is a space where I and special guests will be cultivating intentional and honest conversations about life's journey. Subscribe everywhere you listen to podcasts and watch us on YouTube now. Wouldn't you love to create your own personal oasis? What is an oasis, you ask? An oasis is something that provides refuge, relief, or a pleasant contrast, and that is exactly what you will find at AJO Consulting Services, LLC. AJO Consulting Services is a company that provides individuals, communities, and businesses of color with coaching and consulting services, personal and professional development, as well as social and community connection services. These services include, but are not limited to, dating, life, relationship, and business coaching, finance management, travel experience curation, wellness navigation, and much more. Are you ready to find, connect, and release? Come experience your oasis today. Visit our website to learn more at www.ajoconsultingservices.com. Follow us on Facebook at AJO Consulting and Instagram at AJO Consult. Also, email us at info@ajoconsultingservices.com.
To increase the amount of eggs that are being produced. And by produced, I mean how many eggs I'm ovulating. So I typically ovulate just like one egg. And so all right, let's take this and see if we can ovulate more than one. And it also helps control how quickly the eggs mature as well. So that, again, we can narrow down that window of when you should have sex and see what happens. And so we did that. And then Ovidrel then is a shot, which I told you I don't like needles. But it's a shot you take in the midsection, stomach area. At least that's where they told me to take it. I think some people sometimes take it other places, but that's where I was told to take it. And that triggers ovulation, right? So there's usually a time span of when the body decides they will ovulate. So that one, it narrows it down to within a 24 to 48 hour window. So those are the two main things that I had to do. And the first time it was timed intercourse, and that didn't produce anything. Probably TMI. Family members and close friends. This is going to be descriptive. Well, not crazy descriptive, but if you don't want to hear about me having sex, I think you should probably tune out now. Okay. And so now you got to understand, right? So during this time, we are growing our relationship and we got other shit going on. So life is lifing, he's, doing some things and advancing his life. I'm also doing some things. So, it wasn't on some, we weren't teenagers on some rabbit shit. We weren't, so I really do feel that was why we probably had to do more interventions than necessary, because we weren't really having sex as much as we probably should have been. We were, just not as much as you need to. And it's at least for me, it was a little because you're getting these drugs in your system. And for me, they impacted my mood. They impacted my wanting to have sex. So it was also kind of man, back up off me, So yeah, that first time that I got on them drugs, baby, no, it was not fun. It was not fun. My hormones, were all over the place. I feel my mood was just ugh, it wasn't fun. It wasn't fun. So it made me not like him either. So it's we're supposed to do what? So it was one of those, and it was tough. But by the second time taking the meds, it was a little better. I had better control, because the first time I didn't know what to expect, right? So over the years, not everyone PMSs, not everyone goes through like mood swings and stuff. But over the years, I noticed that, okay, yeah, there's some things that definitely happens for me. Sometimes I get emotional, sometimes I get angry. It's like one or the other, right? Like one cycle, I could be crying at everything. Other cycle, F on my face, I don't want to see nobody. Leave me alone. So I started to be more mindful of those things. And so I would know how to like catch myself and like regulate myself. And so I was like, I don't know why, but I wasn't thinking that these drugs was gonna fuck me up. I'm like, I got this. I'm a veteran at this. Okay. No. And so when it hit me, it took me coming off of them to be like, yo, I was walling. Okay. And so I was like, ugh. And it kind of deterred me, honestly, of like taking them again. I'm not big on meds. I'm just not that person. So I think after we did that first timed intercourse business, I was kind of like, let's chill for a little bit. So I think it was by like end of 2021, we had did the time intercourse, and I wasn't with the shits again for another few months. Like it wasn't until the following January that I was like, okay, we try this again. Was it even January? Was it the summertime or something? It was January, yeah. I was kind of like, nah, I don't want to do this again. Nah, I don't do this again. So like October, November, December, January. Yeah, so it was like a few months that was kind of like, So, all right, took some time, recoup from the experience. It was like, all right, cool. You ready to do this again? All right. So went ahead again, but this time we did the time intercourse, which is probably like the most natural way. And then we decided, all right, let's do IUI. Because of my numbers and things, I didn't have to do that much preparation for IUI, but that might be different for everybody. So again, it was just the Overdrill and the letrozole. I feel like, we kept it at the lowest dose as possible. And you could also take Clomid, I think it's called. That's also something that's given to women. But why it wasn't given to me was because of my fibroids. And I think she said that it might impact them or make them bigger, something like that, impact them in a negative way. And I was like, nah, we're not fit to do that. So we kept it low dose letrozole, kept it low. And so did that again. IUI was not fun. Same process, similar process to just finding out what's going on. You do the ultrasound, you do the blood test, and then it's like, all right, time for the procedure. So I'll talk about that was my preparation. My partner's preparation was, all right, when it was close to, so the difference between now doing the IUI and the timed intercourses. So now I take the letrozole, then I take the Overdrill, and so now I have this window of when I'm ovulating. So during that window, like they give you like maybe within 24 hours of taking the Overdrill, which is the shot to stimulate ovulation, your partner then has to go in, give a little sample. They clean the sample, they shake it up, they take only the strongest soldiers, and then you come into the office and you do the IUI. And what that consists of is they have you on the table, like you're going to get, a regular gynecological exam. They put a tube in you into your uterus. They stick it into your cervix, into your uterus. And what they do is just let the boys go in there, right? And so what that does is if they're to kind of see if maybe the process of getting the sperm into the uterus is what's hindering you getting pregnant, right? And again, that talks to that piece I was telling you about. Like if your cervical mucus is too thick, they're not getting in there. Or if your pH in your vagina is too strong, they die before they even make it. So that kind of removes those steps. And they also take in the strongest sperm. So these are the ones that are healthy, the healthiest, the fastest, the strongest. That should increase the chances. And we also know that the egg is coming. So like at this point, it's like, all right, So either it's gonna go down for real, and increases the numbers of it happening, or it's like, all right, this ain't going down. We did it ain't work. And it was like, all right, I mean, not this time, right? It wasn't meant to be. That first time was, I mean, not to say that I wasn't disappointed, but it wasn't like a huge. It's one of those kind of like, oh, all right. Like, I thought it would have worked. Like, there's no real reason why I shouldn't, right? But it didn't. And you're also still supposed to have sex, which, again, drugs still in your system. You just had some catheter all up in your cervix. And then afterwards, yeah, have sex. No, I don't want to. Like, I don't want to. It doesn't feel good. Like, it doesn't feel good. Yeah. So again, I can't say that we did what we were supposed to do. We did it. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. So, all right. So after that, again, the next time, I feel like we waited again, like a good little while too. Yeah. So checking. Yes. So did the time intercourse in October 2021, and January is the first IUI. So I didn't wait. After the first one, kind of like, all right, it didn't work. All right, cool. What up? We go. We still doing this? All right. And so then February, it's February 14th. It was Valentine's Day. We decided to do it again. Now, about this as well. If y'all been paying attention to like what's been going on with me, 2022 was a lit year, right? So there's a lot of things going on in 2022. So there's a lot of things that have been in the works for myself as well as my partner. So a lot of things been going on. I ain't honestly sure it was like the best time to be doing all this. Literally that day, I started a new job. What was I thinking? I don't know, right? I'm thinking, I don't know, maybe it's like, oh, I did this before, I got this. Wrong-o. So I went that day to do the IUI again. And directly afterwards, I went to work. The first day on the job. Suffice to say, it was wildly uncomfortable because I did not feel good. Like, after the IUI, y'all ladies, y'all have had your gynecological exams. Y'all know that that is uncomfortable. This one is like that with a little on top. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you just feel off. And I should have said I could start the following day. I don't know, honestly, what I was thinking. But I did that, went to work. It wasn't a good idea. But that IUI did not work. And that one hit me really hard, to be honest. Like, surprisingly. So after you do the procedures, like, it takes, let me hope I don't mess this up. So you do the procedure and you have to wait. Yeah, you have to wait like 10 days before you come back in the office. And typically you either gonna get your period or you're not, right? Not getting your period doesn't necessarily mean you're not pregnant, but it could mean that. So that wait, it fucks with you. Like, it's a lot. Like, I mean, I guess that wait makes you really realize how bad you wanted it or not. I did better with the wait this time, though. No, I'm lying. No, I didn't. I did not. The first time you didn't really know much, so I don't think I really I was anxious about it, but not that much. The second time I was more anxious because now I have a better idea what's going on. First time I really wasn't sure what the hell was going on. Second time I did. And so I think that's why I hit a little harder. I was distraught when my cycle came down. And it just hit me so hard. Like, did my cycle come down? No. I went to the doctor. So it's either your cycle comes down or you go to the doctor. Then when you go to the doctor, you do a blood test to check if you're pregnant or not. I hadn't gotten my period yet though. And when the nurse called and was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, you're not pregnant," bruh. And I was at work. I, I was at work like, all right, it's cool, it's cool. I came home, baby. And I just had like the cry. Like, I don't know the why it hit me like that, but it hit me really hard that I'm like, shit, like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, why didn't it work? You know, what the hell's going on? And I had to like, I was just really distraught. Like, I told my partner, I was like, all right, you know, we were disappointed. And on the phone with him, I was like, I don't know, I felt okay. And then after getting off the phone, I was distraught. And so I ended up calling one of my, I want to say sister friends, but she's like, I want to say like my spiritual mom, I want to say, and letting her know kind of what's been going on. I think it's the first time outside of like updating in general to people, my fertility journey, and maybe like one or two people. I don't know if it was two people, one big person really who was really, really close to me, who knew I was going through it as I was going through it outside of my partner. I didn't really tell anybody like in detail. And so I think maybe this second time really brought up all the stuff and I'm like, I need to talk to somebody. And so yeah, I spoke to her. I was on the phone bawling. Just, and she, you know, she prayed me through it. You heard them? Because Lord knows. I needed them prayers. And she gave me, you know, sound advice. And she's like, everything is going to be in its own timing. Just give yourself a break, you know, just relax and enjoy the process. Get to know, you know, just be in a relationship, get to know your partner more, you know, all the things, all the things. And, you know, got off the phone with her and was like, all right, God, I hear you, bro. And I said, I'm going to chill out. I'm going to chill out. I'm going to take this time to just not think about this. I don't want to think about having no kids. I'm just going to just be. And that's what I did. And it's like everything always happens how it's supposed to. It's always in hindsight. You're like, okay, I see it now. Of course, when it's happening, you're like, but why? But now I'm like, it makes sense because so many things from February till the end of the year happened. So many things. And it makes a lot more sense now. Like, I see why being pregnant from that time span till whenever wasn't going to work out. It wasn't going to work out. You know what I mean? The relationship was tested. Again, new jobs and then job descriptions and responsibilities shifting. Then homes were being bought. Then just businesses were started. Just mental health things going on. God knew what he's doing. I know it's so. So in hindsight, I'm happy. It did not happen the way that it, you know, I thought it was going to happen, how I envisioned it happening. And I'm grateful for it, honestly. Yeah, I'm grateful for it. So now, all this stuff done happened. Mad stuff. But of course, in the interim, travel as well, celebrating birthdays and just enjoying life, like legitly, leisurely, like after this time span, and just like, you know, my spiritual mom was saying and my sister friend, like, yeah, like just chill out, enjoy life. And then if you feel like you want to continue, then you'll continue it. And during this time, I had better perspective about things. And it was kind of like, I kind of not went back, but like kind of was on this. If it's for us, it's going to happen. If it don't, bro, I'm good. Like, I'm good. You know, like legitly, like, I'm okay. Like, I think it was different in the not knowing, and then you didn't know what your status was, and then like you're not getting pregnant, you're like, I don't know, something's wrong. But in knowing, I'm okay. it's just not happening. So there must be like a bigger reason for it not happening. Then I'm kind of like, all right, maybe it's just not for me. I'm just going to be the rich auntie forever and ever. And I'm like, I'm okay with that. So in the interim, things happening, like, all right, having another conversation with my partner and like, yo, you want to do this thing? So those of you who have insurance, and I pray that those of you who plan on doing this, if you plan on doing it, have insurance and have insurance that covers all this, because thank God for insurance. Them drugs are not cheap. And even with insurance, I had to pay out of pocket stuff, but nowhere near as much as if you didn't have insurance. So there are rules and regulations, again, depending on your age and stuff. So technically, you can do IUI as many times as you want. However, insurance tends to only cover it 6 times, I think. 6 to 8 times. Don't quote me. I think it depends on your insurance. Mine's, I think it was like 6 to 8 times. However, studies shown and like research shows, after 3, it don't really catch, right? Like, it's kind of like, all right, you're going to have to upgrade or just be like, forget it, right? And by upgrading, I mean go to IVF. So knowing this information, so I sat down, spoke to my partner, like, yo, this is what it is. One, you sure you still want to do this? These are the options. Are you up for it? You ready for it? Like I said, because life was lifing a lot. So it's like, you sure you still want to do this? All right, cool. So in my mind now too, I'm like, all right, this is the 3rd time. If this don't catch, I'm good. Now, my fertility clinic, their process is, all right, this is the 3rd time. We typically then prepare for IVF. So by that preparation, it's like, and it had been quite a few months since the last time. So February was the last time we did IUI. And so by the time we was like, all right, let's try this again, it was August. So it's quite a few months. It was like 6 months. And so had to redo the test because things can change. You know, I became a year older, and I became a year older and all kind of stuff. So again, we got to go through the process again, but this time a little bit different. And then prepping, like they make you do like educational classes about IVF and what that looks like and the drugs and it is. And I'm doing it, but I'm sitting there going, I'm not doing this. Like, I'm not doing it. My spirit was like, no, like, no. And I legit was like, Father God, ancestors, spiritual team, if y'all saying no, just tell me no. Okay. Like, and I'm and on some real shit, like, nah, I'm trying to be funny. Like, I was like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay. Cause I was honestly tired of going through the process. And God bless the couples, the people, the women who go through this and IVF and stuff, like several times, because that last time it almost took me out, and I wasn't even like, I didn't expect it to happen that way. I thought I was grounded. I thought I was like ready for it mentally, like, oh, it could work, it cannot work, you know. That shit emotionally took me out, and it took me a little while to kind of, you know. So this goal, I was kind of like, look, I ain't fit to keep doing this, and to get more invasive, more drugs. This feels a lot for me. I don't think this is my journey, and I don't want to do all this extra stuff. So that's where I really was at. I'm like, yo, this don't work. We gonna have to, at least for a while, I was gonna be like, nah, we gonna call this quits for however long that lasted for, to be honest. So that's where I was with it. And talked about it with my partner. Like, all right, cool. And we went ahead and we did the IUI in August. Now, this time all around was different. And I think for both of us, in the sense of like, we knew what was going on. We knew what we needed to do, and we know where we fucked up. And the previous times, I think we weren't, I don't know if we say we weren't taking it seriously, but we weren't really following doctor's orders like we should have. And so this time I was like, look, if we're going to do this last time, we might as well just do it right. Like, do it right. Make sure it's, at least we know if it don't work, we did what we need to do. All right. You feel me? Whatever. So this go around, you know, we did what we had to do. We went in, okay? And so going into it, the IOI, we were like, I feel like my partner had this level of confidence. I ain't necessarily had that high level of confidence, but he was mad confident, like, we good, you know? And I'm like, all right. Me, I'm like, I'm good either way, bro. Like, whatever. So we go, get the procedure done. So now I also want to explain that I was also around this time, literally the week prior to getting the IUI done, I had an ear infection. So I was on antibiotics. And like I said, I don't like meds. Meds don't like me. Okay. So I was kind of like, not looking forward to having to take this Overdrel. And I was already taking this Letrozole while being on antibiotics. So I was kind of like, yeah, whatever. Like, okay, I just want to be done with these drugs. Okay. So I was also on that vibe. Like, I just wanted to be done with these drugs and let's get this done. Let's get this over with. This time I made sure not to be at work. I scheduled it and I took my ass off and I went home. Okay. Did I go? Yeah, I went home afterwards. I got me some Starbucks, got me some good food, some good eats. And I took my ass on home and I was relaxing the rest of the day. So I made sure to like not play myself in that way again. And so it happens and I'm like, all right, Lord, this is in your hands. Literally, it's in your hands. This is fine. This is going to be fine. If it's not, it's not. And that's where I left it. I was just like, that's where it is. And this 10-day wait, this wait period, I wasn't like as I was last time. Like last time I was checking and I'm like, every little thing I'm like, oh, could that be something? Is that something? Is this it? That this time I was like, like I ain't fit to do this. I'm not gonna, go crazy. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. If it's not, then it's not. And that was that. And this time, it was successful. And here is the boom. Yeah. So I'm pregnant, y'all. All the way pregnant. At this point, by the time y'all see this, I probably won't be 6 months pregnant anymore. Well, I'm actually like a week from being 6 months pregnant. So next episode, I'll tell y'all about this pregnancy journey because baby, it's been something. So yes, pregnant, and I'll kind of detail that experience a little later, but I wanted to give y'all the up to journey and encourage those who really, if you really, really want to do this, you can. I say take a hold and give yourself the power of knowing what's going on in your body. Don't wait and be like, oh, I need a man. You don't have to. Know what you want. And that way you can really plan your next steps. I think that was really important for me in making this decision, going into the relationship, knowing what it is, as opposed to like, oh no, if it happens, it happens. It was good to know. I felt really empowered. I felt sure in knowing where I stood and being able to use that information to have these real conversations with my partner. I think it was important to be as clear as possible. If you are in that predicament, if you are in that situation, if you're thinking about it, I strongly agree. I strongly think it's a good idea. Know, just to know. And if you are getting into something, hey, this is where I'm at. This is what I'm doing. Are you with it or not? And let that person make a decision. And if they are, wonderful. If they're not, also cool. And then you can go about your business. This is not an easy decision. It's not an easy process. Definitely choose the right person to do it with. Definitely be in a good mental state. Be in therapy. Have a support system, people you can talk to about it. It's not going to judge you. It's not going to be like, why are you doing that for? Everybody's journey is different. Someone who have people, it could be a person or some people who are understanding or have an open mind at the very least. But it can be done. And I look forward to sharing the rest of the journey with you all. Bye.
Thank you for tuning into this week's episode of the Oasis podcast. I hope you were able to find something that resonated with you on your journey. Don't forget to subscribe anywhere you listen to podcasts and YouTube. Rate us and leave us a review and comment on Apple Podcasts, iTunes, and YouTube. Share your favorite episode and like us on Instagram and Facebook. If you have any questions, comments, want to be a guest, or any show ideas, contact us at ajaysoasis@gmail.com. That's AAYJAYSOASIS@gmail.com, or direct message us on Instagram and Facebook.